Even after agreeing to a deal with Gerardo Parra at the onset of spring training, the Giants reportedly aren't done looking for help in the outfield. The Giants are in discussions with free agent outfielder Cameron Maybin. ESPN's Buster Olney reported on Tuesday, SF has been assessing the market for a while, in need of options. They've been talking with Cameron Maybin, who would give SF a CF safety net and red balance to Steven Duggar. Maybin, 31 years old, highly respected as a teammate, played all three of spots last year for Mia. See Buster Olney at Buster. ESPN, February 13, 2019. As Olney noted, Maybin's versatility checks a big box for the Giants in the first season under President of Baseball Operations Farhan Zaidi. Last season, the 31-year-old slashed .249, .326, .336, and saved more runs defensively, 6, than every Giants outfielder, according to Fangraphs metrics. At the 2018 MLB winter meetings in December, Zaidi said he hoped to add at least 2 outfielders to the Giants' depth chart. He said last week that the team was still looking for multiple additions in the outfield, and confirmed the team's interest in superstar free agent Bryce Harper. Related, Mad Bum says he'd love to stay a Giant despite trade chatter. Olney reported earlier on Tuesday that there is skepticism the Giants would be able to make an offer that would ultimately sway Harper, but a potential Maybin signing certainly wouldn't prevent San Francisco from bringing in Harper as well. If their reported discussions with Maybin, and Harper, for that matter, come to fruition, the Giants' outfield will look a lot different than it did just a few short days ago. I always thought that giving up something to lure a star player was funny. It was just kind of my spin on it. Jack Fritz is an evening show producer for Sports Radio 94 WIP in Philadelphia and hosts the High Hopes podcast, a podcast dedicated to all things Phillies. Naturally, being from that area, Fritz is a big advocate on wanting the Bryce Harper sweepstakes ending in the city of brotherly love for the 26-year-old free agent. And what's he doing to make sure this wish comes to fruition? Introducing. And this. Phillies fans are giving up something they love in order to convince Harper to sign with the team. Fritz has been without beer for 5 days. So brave, I texted the guy the first do the podcast with and I said, you know what would be funny? Is if we had to give something up until Harper signs, Fritz told NBC Sports Bay Area. Fritz wanted to make this a way to put a kind of fake pressure on Harper to make a decision. I think the idea of a bunch of Phillies fans putting the pressure on someone who has never heard of us, to sign with Philadelphia, I thought was a really funny idea, he said. Fritz is on the same boat as everyone else, reflecting on the length of free agency this offseason. He also talked about the Phillies fan base. And despite the team being the favorites for a while, he admitted there were some apprehensions knowing the Giants were in on the Harper hunt. Now with the Giants coming in, everyone's kind of freaking out a little bit, kind of panicking. Fritz admitted the fans were worried the Giants could really be a contender. The last couple of days have been very tense around the Philadelphia area. He remains optimistic, however, that Harper will land with the Phillies. Despite it sounding like a Homer thing, he did make some valid points about Harper's career numbers at what was formerly named it. Nobody can deny that Harper has struggled offensively in San Francisco in the past. Related, an open letter and plea to Harper to play for the Giants. I still feel good about him coming to Philadelphia. Fritz is dead set on this working for him. So much so he said he would only agree to the interview with me if Giants fans do not adopt it. Which is okay because that means you can still drink beer. Scottsdale, Arizona. At the winter meetings in December, manager Bruce Bochy was asked about the 9th inning and declined to name Will Smith his closer. At the time, it was easy to understand. The Giants were open about the fact that Smith was a popular target in trade discussions. It's now February and Smith is still here, but Bochy again said he needs some time before naming a closer. I don't know if we'll answer that until 2 or 3 weeks from now, he said. The latest complication is a good one. It's unlikely the Giants trade Smith at this point, but the man who is supposed to be the closer for 4 years is throwing so well that the staff wants to take some time to make a decision. Mark Melancon is fully healthy and had good life on his throws Wednesday, the first day of camp, and he remains in the mix. "We haven't defined that role yet," Bochy said when asked about Smith. "I'll add to that Melancon feels great. He looks like he got over the hump with his situation." Melancon's first 2 seasons in San Francisco have been wrecked by forearm injuries, and with diminished velocity in Cup, he has struggled. Melancon managed a 3.23 ERA last season in 41 appearances, but had a 1.59 whip and his strikeout rate dipped to 7.2 strikeouts per 9. The Giants often saw a good curveball from Melancon last year, but the cutter that made him so dominant has been inconsistent. The hope is that the repertoire returns and they can still salvage plenty from the final 2 years of a $62 million contract. Related, Giants top prospect Bart catches mad bum in first camp day. That's not to say that Melancon would automatically get the 9th if he returns to form this spring. Smith was dominant for much of his first season back from Tommy John surgery and had a 1.90 ERA before a rough appearance on the final weekend of the season put him at 2.55. The lefty had 14 saves after taking over when Hunter Strickland got hurt. The Giants haven't made a choice yet. They're hoping Melancon makes it a tough one.